Aloha friends. So I'm here to talk about a controversial topic that I shared about on my Instagram page, and I said, you all want to know more about plant medicine? And I had many people that answered and said yes. So this is a longer video about my experience with plant medicine and how it's helped me. Before I get into this story here, please like and subscribe and comment on my video, because if you do that, more people will see this. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So just to share a little bit about me for those of you who don't know, and yes, my hair are in these fun mermaid braids that my friend did. I have them up on my head like Princess Leia. Little bagel things, just because it's fun. Why not? Anyways, my story in brief is that I was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer in September 2016. I was doing well for a while, then the cancer spread throughout my body. I was recommended to hospice in the winter of 2019. I was dying. I had a remarkable recovery. I've been NED, no evidence of disease, for many, many years now. You can hear my whole story on my YouTube page. There's a 4-minute video I posted that shares my story, so I'm not going to get into full story here because this video is about plant medicine. So I've used various forms of plant medicine, and by plant medicine, it's a very loose term for various forms of medicines: ayahuasca, MDMA, and again, I'm not somebody who is highly knowledgeable about all this, so I'm using it in a very loose form. Mushrooms, MDMA, ketamine, there's a list of lots of them that I've tried over the years. But I also wanted to let you know, I am not a normal drug user. I eat very clean, I eat organic, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't use drugs on a regular basis at all. I live in a very, very clean manner, so I'm not somebody who regularly uses substances. I do once a month get hormone blocking shots, Dex, to block my hormones, because the breast cancer I deal with is hormone driven. And then once every 3 months I get shots of Xgeva. So I deal with those drugs, and I get vitamin infusions, but I'm not somebody who regularly smokes pot or any of these things. I do use medical cannabis because of the cancer, but I don't get high from it. So I am somebody, I have horses, I have a very active life, I have a mermaid business, I work with people with horses, so I like to stay very coherent. I have to, because I take care of horses, so I like to be present. I don't like to be high. So I just say this as a disclaimer to let you know that this is not, even though I look alternative and all that, and I am alternative, it's not something I do on a regular basis. So let's see, how do I talk about this? I have done various forms of plant medicines over the last many, many years. I'll just be very honest about my background. When I was a teenager, like many teenagers experimenting, like I drank for a few years. I went through a period when I was about 17 about trying lots of psychedelics. That was part of my path of awakening. At a certain point, when I think I was about 18, 19, I realized that I needed to be clearer, and so I stopped drinking, I stopped using a lot of substances, and I decided just to be clean because I felt better that way. I'm incredibly sensitive, so I realized that I had to use discernment when it came to substances. I was a deadhead, I went to shows, but I was always very careful about what I put in my body, because I'm at the extreme level of sensitivity where other people could handle small doses and be fine, whereas I'm just blown out. So I like to share this as a context for my high degree of sensitivity. So over my whole life, I've done various substances at different times to maintain clarity and kind of clear the cobwebs out of my brain, out of my body, but not on a regular basis. So for a while, I was a very young single mom. Like, I wouldn't do anything for 10 years or so. And then at various times, like once every few years, I would do something like mushrooms or this and that. But it was always a very conscious, deliberate, intention. Somebody said years ago to plan your trip and trip your plan, and that's how it was. So it wasn't something I did on a regular basis. When I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2016, I was very busy running a horse retreat center. But at a certain point, when the cancer started spreading, I went to a very intentional kombu ceremony. That's frog medicine, and I wrote a blog about it that I'll link in here. This was many, many years ago, probably 7 years ago now. And it was a 3-day ceremony, very powerful. And at that point, my best friend, Deb, had died, and my dear friend Rowan had died very young from cancer. So I was going through a lot of trauma around their deaths. And I was going through stage 3 cancer at that point, and it was starting to get worse, although I wasn't quite aware of it. And so that ceremony really helped me clear and cleanse my body and get out a lot of grief, especially around Deb and Rowan's death. So that was very powerful. So I highly recommend these medicines for working through trauma or grief, and they've been very helpful for me. So that cleared out a level of grief and trauma, though it was still there, because when you lose somebody you love, of course, it takes a long time to process, as many of you know. Also around that time, within a few months of that experience, I believe I went to an ayahuasca ceremony, and that helped get out a lot of anger and trauma. But like I mentioned, I'm on the very sensitive area of things, and so that dosage was way too high for me. So if you're interested in trying plant medicine, if you've never done it, I really recommend you work with a facilitator who knows what they're doing, and be aware of how much medicine you're taking. Because if you're sensitive like me, if you tell somebody you need a light dose, even that light dose might be too much for you. So it's really important to know about dosage. For me, I've learned that lighter doses are better because I feel so deeply. Then my health worsened. I came back home to Kaua'i here, and that's when I almost died. I ended up doing chemo. It was very difficult. You can check out my story. You can read my book, Grace, Grit, and Gratitude, A Cancer Thriver's Journey from Hospice to Full Recovery with the Healing Power of Horses. And then I started getting better at a certain point, and I tried various forms of medicine over the next few years. And over the next few years, let me just say, my mom died from cancer, and then 4 months later, my dad died. My dad's death was very traumatic, very painful, highly, just my dad's death was rough. He died 4 years ago now, and I'm still dealing with the trauma, but it is a lot better, thank goodness. In the last 4 years since my parents have died, I've probably done about 7 different medicine journeys, and some of them have been in group sessions, ayahuasca type, and then some have been with individual practitioners. I've worked with therapists who work with it, and they've been trained to work with it in this capacity, which I highly recommend. I've worked with shamanic practitioners. I've worked with some highly trained people one-on-one that work with people in this way, that are trained with trauma. And each time I've done it, it's been tremendously powerful to work through stuck levels of trauma. And I don't want to speak too much about the different medicines, but there's different combinations, different things that work in different ways. MDMA, MDA, ketamine. There's a lot of them basically that can really help calm the body down and help you kind of tap into those emotions and talk it through. The reason why I think these medicines are so powerful is that I can go to therapy and I can live my everyday life, and I'm slowly working through the trauma if I intend to, but I can only do so much within my own normal everyday context. The great thing about these medicines is they help, what I feel like, tune into your cells on a deep level and actually reprogram them and work stuck trauma out, or anger or grief or pain. It really helps move through whatever is stuck within you. I had a very powerful experience some years ago, and this is before I knew I was NED, no evidence of disease, where I was still afraid of the cancer in a sense. This was probably about 4 years ago, and still struggling with the fact of like, I still have cancer in my body. And I did this medicine journey. It was with a small group of people. And when I was going through the ceremony, I saw myself cancer free, and I actually removed all the cancer cells from my body in this medicine journey. And I told the woman I was with, I said, I am cancer free. There's nothing in my body. I am clear. I know this, and I could see it. And I feel like the fact that I was tapped into myself on this deep level with this medicine in my body, I could actually visualize it and make that happen. I found out I was NED, no evidence of disease, 1 month after that. I kid you not. So I believe that that medicine journey really helped actualize that vision. So I'm a true believer in this. The last medicine journey I did was 2 months ago, and I have been working with a therapist for this last year with the intention of doing a medicine journey. She's trained to work with people on this level, so I've been doing regular therapy in preparation for this event. So I did a session with her, a medicine journey, and it was very powerful, and the focus was on getting out the trauma around my parents' deaths, some family trauma, and it was deeply, deeply powerful because I feel like since my parents' deaths, I've been holding on to this knot of pain and trauma that's been holding me back, and some other things about my last love relationship as well that was particularly painful because it was layered on with my father's death. And due to the journey that I did, I was able to work through a huge layer of trauma where now when I see pictures of my father, or I think of horrible things that happened right before his death, because we didn't know he was going to die until about 2 weeks before, and it was very hard. I won't go into details, but there was some very triggering memories that I couldn't even think about. So I kind of kept them in a box, and I didn't look at it because it was so much to hold on to. But doing this medicine journey helped really break it down for me to look at it and see, okay, this isn't so intense now. I can handle looking at it. And I'm still working through the trauma, but it's much less triggered. So I really believe that when we are dealing with something like cancer or dis-ease, it's stuck energy in our body, whether it's anger or grief or trauma that hasn't been dealt with. So medicine journeys can be very powerful if they're done in a constructive and safe and positive intent, and knowing the right medicine to take and how much, and the right environment so you feel safe and comfortable to work through those stuck emotions and help them leave your body, basically. Because if you are walking around with those stuck emotions, where are they going to go? They just create dis-ease, basically. So I'm very grateful to the medicines, and I'll definitely do it again, but it'll be when I feel like it's right, and it has to be the right timing too. So it's, like I said, it's not something I do every day, but if there is a need to do it, I will do it, and I'm very grateful for it. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. This is just a very relaxed share, and I may be missing some things, but I hope it's been helpful. Feel free to chime in with any thoughts or feedback. I always love to hear that, and wishing you beauty on your healing journey. And again, just let me reiterate, if you decide to try this, if you haven't been on this path, I really encourage you to check out who you might be doing it with. Do they have a good reputation? Talk to them, research the medicine. Also, the quality of the medicine is very important as well. I've definitely been on journeys where it hasn't been so pleasant, more my teenage years and my early 20s, like bad trips, so which I survived, but there's a way to do it in a very constructive, powerful, positive way, and I encourage that. All right, thanks for listening, and please subscribe to my channel, comment, like this to help the algorithm pick it up more. All right, Lots of love and aloha. Bye.